Coach, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. I know this is a big part of the season. I know the fans are really kind of eager to hear from you with the draft right around the corner, so thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us today.
Yeah, it's good being with you, Garrett and John. Thanks a lot.
I know that for you, it's been an exciting couple of months. You know, you win the Super Bowl, you have the chance to go on David Letterman, you have the chance to meet President Obama, your alma mater inducts you to the Cradle of Coaches with Paul Brown and Bo Schembechler. What's this whole experience, been like for you, and how do you kind of put it into words?
You know what? I don't know if you can put it into words, but thanks for pointing all that out. I kind of forgot all that stuff happened. We've been so deep into the draft now, and the players are back in town, and all the different things we've been going through to build our team for next year. You move through that stuff pretty quickly. I think it's always there, and it's been great. Meeting President Obama was for Ingrid and I was just a incredible experience. What a gracious man, what a tremendous leader, and that's something that's hard to describe. How do you put that into words? You walk away from that, you're kind of breathless. The Cradle of Coaches has been something for an old Miami guy. Going way back, all the guys that know Miami know how neat that is. And how much that means. So, and then of course, just sharing the championship with the guys, with people in the building, with the fans. That's been fun. It's been fun being around town. Running into fans. And fans will say, "Hey, champ," and I'll say, "Hey, champ," right back. We share that moment together, but at the same time, man, we're moving forward and getting ready for next year.
You mentioned the guys being back in the building. You have some of the old Joe Flacco, Ray Rice here, and then also some of the new guys, Elvis Dumerville, Chris Canty. How do you kind of see the old meshing with the new this season?
Yeah, it's hey, I think it's going to mesh great because we're all going to be Ravens. The guys are excited. The guys coming in for the first time, they're new to the Ravens, but they're not new to the National Football League. They understand what it takes to be successful. They're veterans. They're mature guys. They're hard-nosed guys. And they're excited to be Ravens, So I think our veteran guys who've been a part of this program are embracing those guys, and together they will determine and define what it means to be a Raven in 2013.
I know you have friends, colleagues all over the league. There's a conversation that goes on constantly among the coaches. I'm wondering what you've heard from them about the whole notion of a Super Bowl hangover. Does it exist? And is there such a thing? What you've heard from some of the other people that may have been through it, and if so, how do you deal with it?
Right. It does exist, obviously by fact. It's existed by the result for the next year, and I have had a chance to talk to some coaches who've been through that experience. And you know what? Some of it applies and some of it doesn't. I think you have to take your own situation for what it is. We've addressed that. A lot of it by necessity, and some of it by decision. And we go forward a humble football team and a hungry football team. I think Under Armour's got it best. Stay humble, stay hungry, and attack the next. I'll have my dad's thing: attacks the next day or the next challenge with enthusiasm. So, that's what we're going to try to do, and we'll be a different team, but we'll have a similar mentality. And what's created out of that will make us what we are next year.
The next challenge, of course, is the draft. Let's look ahead to that. I know you're a coach that spends a lot of time looking at tape, looking through all of these prospects. One thing that Ozzie always talks about is he tries not to fall in love with a prospect when he looks at the tape. He said he did do it for Haloti. He did fall in love with Haloti coming out of the draft. But have you fallen in love with a prospect, and is that something you try to avoid as well?
I never thought of it like that. It's probably a good point. It's like if you fall in love and then you get disappointed. You know what I mean? I don't want to get my heart broken, especially drafted at number 32. So it might be easier to fall in love with a player if you're drafting in the top 10 and you have a chance. But there's going to be so many options at 32, and there's going to be a good player there for us. There'll be a good player there for us at every position throughout the draft. That's what's exciting about this draft. We have a chance to get a player that can help us really at every spot. So I'm in love with that situation. I'm in love with the fact that we're going to get some good players.
It seems from looking around and some of the draft analysis, the Ravens, the 4 positions of need primarily have been identified. Left tackle, wide receiver, safety, inside linebacker. Do you anticipate getting a player at every one of those spots?
I'm hoping we will. I think we have a good chance to. Left tackle's a little bit more difficult, but offensive line, yes. We have a chance to bring an offensive lineman in, and then we'll set the offensive line up, whatever works out the best. Inside backer, safety, those are strong positions in the draft. Wide receiver turns out to be strong too. Tight end is a strong position. It's a pretty deep draft in some areas where we have needs, and that's exciting.
For you this offseason, there's been a number of changes, but one of the big ones obviously is no Ray Lewis, no Ed Reed coming into this year. This is the first time since you've been here that that's the case.
Right.
How does that change kind of what you do and change your job at all?
We'll find out. It'll be the first time doing this job without those two guys on board, and those guys have been great. I mean, they've been having the opportunity to work with two players of that stature, iconic players, has just been it's been the opportunity of a lifetime. It's something that I'm going to cherish. All of us are going to cherish. I mean, everybody in the building feels that way about those guys, and those relationships are not going anywhere. They're going to stay forever. But now the exciting opportunity is the other guys. When you look at the faces of the guys in the building, when you stand in front of the team and you look around the room and you see the opportunity in guys' faces, they're excited about that. And as a coach, man, that gets your heart beating pretty well.
Your quarterback, Joe Flacco, is probably the most scrutinized player in the league. It seems like, going back, 6 months, and, comes off an incredible playoff run, signs the big contract, and I think people are interested to see where it goes going forward. Steve Bisciotti recently said, it's unfair to expect the Super Bowl, the playoff run every game. It's unrealistic. But, he's coming off a season where there were some ups and some downs. I mean, what is it fair to expect from Joe going forward? A little bit more consistency. I don't know if that's the right word, or, what should the fans expect? I
think the fans should expect Joe to be at his best as often as he can be. Joe's going to fight for that. But it's a great point. It's a great question. Everybody's right. We all see it. We all understand. To have the kind of run that Joe had from the Giants game through to the Super Bowl would be, to maintain that for the next year or 3 years or 5 years, it would be the most unbelievable performance ever in the history of football. Could it be done? Well, you know what? Let's try to make it happen. But he'll have stretches like that. He'll have stretches where he plays like that, and he'll have stretches where he won't play quite like that. But Joe's going to be a great quarterback. We've been saying it from the beginning. What does that mean exactly? What to expect? I expect him to be a great quarterback. I expect him to be a winning quarterback. The thing I love about Joe is that's what Joe is important to Joe. Joe, he's not immune to stats. Joe wants stats. He wants to put up numbers just like anybody else does. But number one in Joe's mind is always going to be winning. He's proven he understands how to do that. And people say, well, he's had a great defense, or he has a great offensive line, or he has a great running game. Well, yeah, that's the idea. And the idea of a quarterback is to build off your strengths. To minimize your weaknesses as a team and build off your strengths. That's a coach's job too. And to me, Joe's done a really good job of that.
Two guys that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about have kind of been under the radar, but are really key parts of this team is Ladarius Webb and Jameel McClain, both coming off injuries. What do you expect from them, and do you expect them to make full recoveries and when they're back to take over that leadership position just like they were last year before they got hurt?
Yeah, and even more. Expect them to make full recoveries. And that's a process, obviously, but those guys should be fully healthy when the season starts. And leadership built from that. I see those guys in there right now leading. They've taken another step. They're starting to fill the void already. Guys are excited about that. It kind of goes to your point, John, about young guys and the roles they're going to fill. They see it. They understand the opportunities. They know, what the demands are going to be. And those two guys you mentioned on defense, they're already stepping up that way.
There's an opportunity, the evolution of the roster. And I guess this happens all the time, but there's a real openings for some young guys. It's in position linebacker, safety, wide receiver, certainly. That's got to be exciting to you. These are, you coach up guys, quote unquote, and the opportunity is there suddenly.
No doubt. That's what gets your blood pressure going as a coach. You get excited about that. Guys have dreams. They have hopes. They've been dreaming of this opportunity for their whole, since they were kids starting to play football, and here it is for them. So, that's what it's all about. I think our fans are going to like what they see. I think our fans are going to really feel good, Garrett, about the direction of the team and the enthusiasm that the young guys are going to have for the game, and the fact that they understand what it means to be a Raven. They've been here, they've seen it, they've seen Ed, they've seen Ray, they've been through the evolution themselves. They've built it, they've been part of building it as well. So, we're still going to be the Ravens.
Is that kind of the message that you want the fans to know from this team? Is that they will know that this team plays like Ravens and they have guys that are Ravens?
Exactly. I think that's exactly it. That's well said. We're going to come out and we're still going to have that Raven logo on the side of our helmet, and we're still going to wear the purple and the black and the gold, and it's going to be a familiar look. They're going to play the way the Baltimore fans are accustomed and up to the expectations that our fans have. Our fans have a high standard for their football. That's Baltimore football, and our players love that. And I think our players feel the need to play that way, and they're proud to be a part of that. And they want to uphold that tradition.
Well, Coach, there's certainly a lot to look forward to, and we really appreciate your time.